Ash Wednesday and Lent is Wednesday the 23rd. Lent begins on Ash Wednesday. Now, why does that matter to progressives? If you are LGBTQ+, you probably think that Ash Wednesday is what brought the party to an end in New Orleans. You know, Mardi Gras. But it is important to New Orleans Mardi Gras season revelers and to Sunshine Cathedral. Ash Wednesday is a holy day of prayer and fasting in many Western Christian denominations. It is preceded by Shrove Tuesday and falls on the first day of Lent, the 6 weeks of penitence before Easter. It is observed by Catholics in the Roman Rite, Lutherans, Moravians, Anglicans, Methodists, Nazarenes, as well as by some churches in the Reformed tradition, including certain Congregationalists, Continental Reformed, and Presbyterian churches. So let's talk about Ash Wednesday and Lent and what is important to queer progressives. First of all, what I think is important is that we queer the season of Lent, that we queer Ash Wednesday. So that whole thing about, I had trouble saying the words penitential season, because that's really not how we do it. Because we're not trying to instill false guilt just so that we can offer false redemption from the false guilt. That's not the queer perspective. We read everything from the margins and to people in the margins. And so that Ash Wednesday isn't to remind us that we're mortal, so we better get our stuff together. No, that Ash just reminds us that we are the dust of the earth. We are stardust. We are fairy dust. We are the dust of eternity. And we all are. So we are unified with all the elements in the universe. And we all do share a life that is made sacred by its brevity. And so how we treat each other, how we love each other, that matters. And so that's how we kick off Lent. And then it is a season of spiritual growth. We don't say penitential. We do have a little confession thing because we all have fallen short of our highest ideals and want to get back on the right track. But that's not about God judging us. That's about us wanting to be all that we can be, all that God has made us to be. And so that's why it's important to us, because not only is it the preparation for Easter, which is a real big party, but it's also a spiritual renewal, and from our queering of it, a spiritual renewal that doesn't beat you down first. Right. It lifts you up from the beginning so that you can be all the more lifted then on Easter.
Right.
What do you?
To me, it's a change of perspective. I didn't grow up. Yes, we had Lent. Okay, yes, it's Lent. And you could tell it was Lent because all the music went to the minor key there.
Yeah.
You know? It's just, but I've taken that and I've changed kind of the context of it. We are in a season of preparation. We are moving towards Good Friday. Something really not great. That's the day we mark something really, really brutal happened. But we know it didn't get the final word. That is Easter.
Right.
It didn't get the final word. And so this, to me, the season of preparation is a time when I focus on more prayer, more spirituality, more meditation. It's about being intentional and taking the time to prepare for and to be reminded of that bad things don't always get the last word.
Right.
That has been a real shift for me. But it's something that I actually anticipate and appreciate now, which I never really did before.
Right. Golgotha happens.
Right.
But so does Easter.
Yes, exactly.
I want to hear what the Baptists have to say about it. Two of them at the table. The Anglican and the Presbyterian. No, Bob, here's a Baptist.
How about you
I was
guys?
just getting ready to jump into that. Growing up in an African-American Northern Baptist church, I didn't know anything about Ash Wednesday. I knew that my classmates who were Catholic would go to church and would come back with some schmutz on schmutz. That's a religious word, right? On their foreheads, but I never really understood what it meant. And then, of course, I meet Reverend Dr. Durrell, and he's standing at the pulpit with a can of Coca-Cola, talking about I'm not giving up anything for this season of penitence. But what I've learned over the years since then is that it is, just as Reverend Nance just said, a time for preparation to understand that our faith walk has somewhere to go.
Yeah.
And when we get to Palm Sunday and they're waving the palms and it's wonderful, and you go through that whole week leading up to Good Friday, and then the resurrection, and we realize that on this small blue ball that we live on, there are a lot of things that we may not understand, but we need to respect what other people do.
Yeah.
And that, as a Baptist, is what I learned.
I love the Good Friday Easter connection. We all fall. and we can all get back up.
Yeah.
Robert?
As someone who grew up in the Southern African Missionary Baptist Church, Ash Wednesday, Lent didn't mean anything else. We went straight to Easter. So we didn't bother about giving up anything. We didn't bother about even too much of Good Friday. We got into the last seven words way later. But even the last 7 words, like, okay, what is that all about? But anyway, but today, I take it to mean, a lot more serious than I did in growing up in the church. My first experience with a lot of the Ash Wednesday Lent stuff, I actually went my time in the military, so I had a whole different appreciation about what it means to be in the armed services while you are observing certain religious holidays, and that one was very meaningful to a lot of people that we work with. But for me, it also meant it's not about giving up. It's like, what can I take on?
Yeah.
What can I take on to understand myself more? What can I take on to understand how I interact with others more? And so it came more personal than it did about anything out there. This was about me not giving up, but also just being open to understanding more about what more this journey has to offer me in life. And so Easter does come. But you got to get through all the other stuff before you get to Easter. But there's Easter Sunday morning joy. And in my Baptist church, we did do sunrise service.
Oh, well, some of us haven't gone to bed by then, though. So that makes it difficult in our community. You remember, Kevin, because I do this in a different way now, but in those days when we were at a church in New Jersey, I was the minister, and one year we gave up Lent for Lent. That's what we did. Like, I canceled Lent.
Yes, you did.
I did
Yes,
that
you
to give up guilt. What I do usually here is on Ash Wednesday, I'll say, if you want to give up something, you can take things on, like a new project or more spiritual disciplines, but if you want to give up something, give up shame. Give up fear, give up guilt, give up self-loathing, give up homophobia, give up self, and that has actually been proven therapeutic for a lot of people. It's oh yeah, I can give up that mess. Yeah, eat all the chocolate you want, unless your doctor says otherwise. But like I gave up snacks for a few weeks. How did that make you a deeper, kinder? Give up whatever's really keeping you from thriving, and you don't want me without caffeine. I promise. You just don't.
Or me without my martini salad. So. Just saying.
All right, Robert. Keep going with you.